How's everybody? My name's Ben, and there's already dust all over my white area and the shadow of the Tails plane, but whatever. I don't clean up my station. But hello everybody, my name is Ben, and welcome back to another custom review. This time it is my Sonic the Hedgehog custom review. A little bit of backstory on these figures. I was originally going to make these guys for the release of the Sonic movie. These figures are not from the Sonic movie. It's just that I've always wanted to make figures of them, and I felt like that would be the perfect opportunity to do just that. But unluckily, this Sonic movie was pushed back quite a while. So, yeah, I just realized there are like two praying mantises stuck in my window, and they're just watching me. It's pretty scary. So yeah, that's just a little nut life fact for you. But yeah, the movie got pushed back, and I'm kind of glad about that because, hey, Sonic isn't gonna look like a physical turd. But the bad thing is that I had ordered all these fake Lego Sonic heads that were now just going to sit in my room for like a year and a half. And so I was just like, you know what, whatever. I'm finishing all this Marvel stuff, and then I'm making Sonic figures for literally no reason. I also made at the same time, for literally no reason, the plane from Sonic, the Tornado Tails plane. So yeah, I made a video on that recently. So if you want to watch that, click the that thing up there. That thing is pretty cool. But yeah. First, one thing I have to note is I did not actually make Sonic. This figure right here, this is my Sonic that I use often because I actually made this guy for my Super Smash Bros. Minifigures, which is another thing that you can click by watching up there if you want to see this Sonic in depth. But yeah, I've already have like twice as many cards in the corner of my screen that I do than usual. So yeah, let's go ahead and start the video. So the first figure here is Tails, and one thing that I do want to note is to make all these figures, I was going to need some Sonic. I was going to need one Sonic head for the shadow that you'll see later, and I just decided that you can get them actually cheaper for 4 than for 1, and so I decided to go for that deal. Ended up with 4 Sonic heads, and I was like, hey, I was only going to make 3 Sonic figures, I'll just make another one, and I'll just use Sonic heads for all of them. So for Tails and Knuckles, that does not work as well because they obviously do not have spines, which is why he looks a little bit odd, but I think it looks pretty good still. So this figure, I did take a Sonic head, and another thing that's really hard about, yeah, it was just super hard. I had to cut and sand for just like 2 full hours all of these spines that were on the back of his head, comparing it to the Sonic figure. It looked just like that before, and so then I had to cut all these off and then sand the remains. And then another funny thing is all these figures that I'm reviewing are actually in the opposite order of the order that I made them. So yeah, this figure I actually just made yesterday. But yeah, I decided to use short legs for him. I couldn't decide between mid legs or short legs, and I eventually decided that short legs were going to be best. It's really hard to paint boots or shoes or whatever onto short legs, so I'm pretty proud that those actually look pretty good. On the back here, you can actually see his tails, and I had to use a lot of glue because Knuckles' tail has fallen off like 4 times already, so I just like went insane with the amount of glue I used on Tails. But I sculpted these 2 with 3 giant just blobs of green stuff and stuck them all together, and yeah, I think I like the position that they're in. I couldn't decide on a position for them, but I think that looks pretty good. Then for the face, I basically sculpted all this on the back to cover up the mess that I left from cutting off the spines. And then I made his ears like a ton bigger and sculpted this little tuft of hair, and then sculpted the tufts of hair on the sides of his little cheek thing. I don't know what this part is. All the Sonic characters have it, Tails is like the only one to have it, but it's fluffy, to have it be like fur. But yeah, and then I just sculpted between his eyes here. Something about his face just looks kind of weird to me. I don't know what it is, but I do think it's also pretty cute, especially compared to my old Tails figure that I was going to bring for comparison, but I don't want to get out of the seat that I'm in, so yeah. He also uses, I use this for I think all the figures in this video, but he uses glove tops that I made by just taking a stud off of like, just for him, just like some random white brick that had, I don't know, I'm trying to look for something here. I don't know, just something like this that had like open studs. Just cut that off and stuck it between his hand and his arm. And yeah, that is it for Tails. Oh wait, actually it's not it for Tails because I forgot to mention the torso is based off Lego Dimensions. I think most of the torsos are based off of Lego Dimensions, but now that's actually it for Tails. Knuckles is here, and unlike Sonic, he does not chuckle nor fart. I'm so hilarious, I love myself. But yeah, here we have another figure that I worked really hard to chop all of the spikes off of another one of these Sonic heads. I should have just used one of the figure heads, but hey, I got to keep the cheek and the nose piece, so that's pretty good. But yeah, the head has a very round sculpt. I feel like it's a little too big. It's supposed to be a lot flatter, but I made it a little bigger to make him look a little taller than Sonic when you put them right next to each other. And he kind of does. It works. And it's just kind of, all of the eyes in this video are painted the same way. Basically, I may change it between figures just a little bit. But yeah, then I just painted the little white part on his torso here. And then his gloves are actually sculpted to make him look a little more round, a little bigger, and then to have his actual knuckles on them. So I'm guessing Knuckles only has 2 fingers because he only has 2 knuckles, but I don't know, that's just a fan theory. Also, his boots don't really translate well on the Lego because it looks like it's just red on red. I could have made that a darker red, I just couldn't figure out how to really make that look very good. But yeah, I do think that his shoes look really good besides the fact that it kind of looks like he's not wearing any shoes, which would be totally illegal in the Sonic universe because that's like the only like part of their body that they actually clothe. But his back here, I actually forgot to sculpt him a tail. So last minute I just grabbed these cow horn pieces, and I have like a billion cow horn pieces. I have no idea what set I got so many cow horn pieces in, but I have a ton. And so I used one of those, cut it, glued it on there. It's fallen off like 4 times just because I ran out of my good super glue, so I'm just using this kind of bad random one. And I did not mean to send his legs that far forward. But yeah, it looks like his tail. It's the correct shape. And yeah, that is it for Knuckles. Next up here we have Silver, which is one that I'm really proud of. I think the sculpt on this one turned out really... Wait this isn't Silver. This is Cardboard Sliver with Peter Connect. I'm so silly. Please excuse me. That was an accident. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna put him over here. But this is actually Sliver right here. So yeah, Sliver was the last minute figure that I decided to include because I was just going to make the other 3, but it came with an extra Sonic head, so I was like, hey, I'll make Sliver, I like him as well, and I'm going to say Sliver for the rest of the video from now on. Thank you, Peter. But yeah, he uses the ring tops as well, or I don't know what to call them, honestly, I guess glove tops, but this time they're painted in gold with a little blue line. His eyes are yellow, and I don't know why I mentioned that, but I did give them the black outlines he has. And then him, I only had to cut off these 2 spikes in the middle, and then the other ones I could just sculpt over to make his giant spikes, which at first I felt like were a little big, but now looking at it, I think they're pretty perfect, honestly. But yeah, and then all these tufts here were sculpted, which I think look pretty good. He's got on his chest some white white painting that I did with a toothpick, and I only did one layer to make it look a little fuzzy. I nearly did it 3D, but I decided not to. I thought that would look a little weird. And then on his back, I sculpted his tail and back spines just like I did for Sonic. And yeah, and then he's wearing his awesome blue kicks that are just made with, like, I don't know, different blues and silvers and stuff. Haha, silver. Actually, that's not silver, that's gold. Sorry. That is silver as well. It's both. Wow, I'm insane. This is crazy. This is the most amount of effort I've put into a figure. But yeah, that's basically it for Sliver. There wasn't really much to say about him. Next up, the last minifigure of the series is the Dark Hedgehog, the oldest character in the Sonic franchise by about 35 years, and that is Shadow the Hedgehog, and one of those prying mantises is gone. I don't know where it is now, which is even scarier than them moving around. So if I start yelling in this video, that's why I probably got eaten by a praying mantis. The Justy Good is invading my channel. But yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog, I started out by cutting off all the spines, which this was the easiest to do because I honestly just had to sand off the ends of the spines. I didn't even barely have to cut them, and then I just sculpted upwards, and I think this is honestly the best sculpt, at least for the head out of all the figures, just because it was kind of the easiest and it turned out the best. And then I painted the red stripes on all of them, and then these spines were done the same way as Sonic's and Sliver's. All of them have the same spines because they're all hedgehogs. And he also has a gun because everyone loves the Shadow game where he has guns. That's everyone's favorite Sonic game. And so then I just did a little bit of sculpting up here to make him look a little angrier. It does when he's like more pointed down, but when he's more pointed up, he just kind of looks like concerned. A little weird. His torso is based off the Lego Dimensions torso that they made for him. I just copied their design basically entirely. And then I made his little, whatever these are, cuff things, 3D. And then I used rings on here, actual Lord of the Rings rings that are attached, believe it or not, to glove tops to keep them in place, because otherwise they just roll around. Which does in fact use up all of my Lord of the Rings rings. So that's pretty dope. I don't know why I keep hitting these in this video. But yeah, then it's just his shoes, which are pretty simple. I was originally going to give him rollerblades, but I felt like that would make him look too much taller than Sonic. And they need to be exact same proportions. I got you, Faker. Faker, you think I'm the fake? You're not even cool enough to be my fake. And that's Shadow. And that wraps up my Sonic minifigure showcase. Thank you for watching. I don't really do showcases like this often, just because or like video game showcases. I'm doing more now because that's basically all I have until, I don't know, whatever movies Black Widow comes out. Just video game stuff. So be prepared for more of that. Subscribe if you like video game customs. Also, stick around, so I'm going to review Peter as well, for those of you who like Fatter. And yeah, it's just really nice to see them all together. They're all just so colorful, the Sonic characters. I really love just the character design. I can see why so many people make weird fan art, but thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stick around if you want to see those things coming up. Got a cool video planned for next week, I think, if I can remember what the video is. I just remember what it is, and it is pretty cool. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see y'all later. Oh, and stay nerdy, friends. Dang it, why do I always forget?